My name's Annie. This is my lovely co-host Toni, who's busy cleaning herself, and she also wants to go into my lap. And today I'm going to be reviewing the Velvet Palette by Ciate, as well as Beauty Gems Face Palette. This is from Ulta, and I basically just bought it because it was inexpensive and it would round out the price so I wouldn't have to pay shipping. But it looks to be a fairly nice palette, so I wanted to try it out. And also, finally, I wanted to show, I'm playing around with my lighting, I wanted to show this Ulta Beauty Adjustable Coverage Foundation. And when I open her up, this is what she looks like. And there's also inside of here a sponge applicator, which I'm not going to be using all the time, but I won't be using it today. But it's in there if you want to take it with you. The main reason I wanted to make this video was to talk about this Velvet Palette from Ciate. And as you can see, one thing I want to talk about also is I have this little number here on the palette. It's a 6. And the reason I have that there is because I use a Wheel of Name application to pick my palettes for me each morning, or at least every morning that I don't have a clear idea of which palette I want to use. And I actually filmed my very first clip that I did a voiceover for, and I'll be inserting that right now. The reason that I have numbers on my palettes isn't to rank them by which ones I like the best or anything like that. It's because I use this Wheel of Names program, which spins a wheel, which has numbers or names on it, and picks one at random. I really like using this because it essentially forces me to use all of my palettes at least once in a while. And ones that I don't like, I don't just hide in a corner or deep in a drawer somewhere and forget about them. This kind of brings them to my attention and lets me try them and see if I really don't like them as much as I think, and then declutter them, or actually give them a second chance and decide that I actually do like them. So if you don't want to choose your own palettes every day, or make sure you're using all of your palettes, I think this is a good option for doing that. Hopefully that was informative and interesting. Toni liked it enough to come back, and then she promptly left again because she's a cat and they do that. The only thing I have on my face right now is my eyebrows, which I did with blue eyeshadow and clear eye gel. I also have on Gerard Cosmetics Clean Canvas. This is in the shade white. And the reason I chose this instead of what I usually wear, which is fair, is because the Ciate palette is very light. It's a very bright pink, and I wanted to make it as vibrant as possible. All over my face. First I put on, my serums. I have a snow mushroom serum that I got from BoxyCharm. I also use The Ordinary. So this is what I'm using on my face. I believe I got this from, I want to say BoxyCharm, probably one of their big boxes, the $50 a month boxes. The Ordinary is a pretty well-known brand. And I really do like this moisturizer. So this is what I put on my face after my snow mushroom serum. I'm also using my Touch of Soul Icy Sherbet Primer. It's a pink gel. It looks like this. I really like the Touch of Soul Glassy, but I'm running out of this. And they had this on sale for $3, I think, or $6, something like that, on the pop-up for BoxyCharm. So I got a bunch of those, so I'll be using that. My face feels absolutely normal. It's not extremely shiny like it was with the glassy primer that I was using before. So I'm really curious to see if it does extend my foundation in any way. I'm not going to be doing a long-term test. I'm just going to film myself putting this on. Then I'm going to go on my elliptical. I'm going to film another video and then come back and report how it lasts. So it should only be on for about 3 or 4 hours. We'll see how that goes. Let me go ahead and put on the Velvet Palette by Ciate. So I got this from BoxyCharm. I also get Ipsy, but I'm pretty sure Ipsy didn't send me a palette at all this month, which is fine. They sent me other good stuff. I have used this. This color right here is extremely bright. It's a very bright, glittery pink. It does have glitter in it, but it also has base color. There we go. That's probably the best way. So I'm trying to hide my mirror so the reflection doesn't overwhelm the camera. You got a pretty good representation of what the colors look right here. You have this matte, this super shiny pink, a gold, another very shiny pink, but not quite as glittery. This shade's more chunky. This is a transition shade. Well, this is a darker matte pink. So this is obviously a pink palette, though there are a couple of darker shades like this right here and that right there. This one here, fairly kind of middle of the road pink, I think. But all in all, yeah, this is much darker in real life than it appears on camera. The whole palette is a little bit darker than it appears. All in all, this is a very bright palette. So I'm going to go ahead and put this on. So I think I'm going to use this color right here, my brow bone color. Oh, I forgot to turn on my ring light again. That does help illuminate it so I can see what I'm doing. And I moved my mirror up a little higher. I'm going to use this pink right here in my crease as my transition shade. I'm going to just use the same packing brush. And it is a darker version of the very one I have on my brow bone, so I like that. It goes on nice, it spreads nice, it blends nice. So I'm going to get this to blend out. And I also think I'm going to put this color under my eyes. This is a very highly pigmented coral color. I'm going to make sure I have it here in the corner of my eyes. It's difficult for me to get pigment in there because it's very wrinkly in there and brush tends to want to skip over it. Okay, and now I'm going to go in with these very shiny, very beautiful shimmers. And I'm going to go with the star of the show right here on one eye. And I'm going to put it right on with nothing underneath it except it, using my finger. It's coming across mainly as glittery, and I'm having trouble getting a lot of it on. I'm getting a fair amount of fallout. So I think this might be better as a topper shade. So what happens if I mix some of this color first and then put it on top? I think that gives it a better presence, more of a sparkly look. Well, I mean, it was already sparkly, but it's such a pale pink that without something underneath it, it doesn't really show up as a color on the eye. It just shows up as sparkle. So I think it does need an undercolor. I do think it's a lid topper, but it's very, very pretty. I've got fallout all underneath my eye right now. Let me try to see if I can brush that away. I'm going to guess not because it is a very fine glitter. Not too bad, not too bad. In the corner for this eye that I just did, I think I'm going to go with this kind of a lavender shade shimmer. It's considerably darker, but it's not really, well, yes, it is showing up as darker. So I'm going to use this gold shade in my inner eye. I'll probably do that on the other side too because that's really the main color that's green. Inner eye color to me is this goldy color. It is very, very bright. And I think I'm going to use a darker color all the way across. That's the one that I was using to darken up that I was using in my transition shade. I'm also going to use a little bit of this darker shade right here to try to deepen up the corner because I don't like how light it is. That's better. The color has gotten darker because of the oils in my finger just watching it, which I've never really seen eyeshadow do before. So that was kind of interesting. Really good for adding depth to my eyes. I go ahead and put a little of this sparkly stuff on top of it. And go back with that super, super shimmery one. Just try to pack it on there. Okay, so that's one eye. I think for the second eye, I don't have a color switch in here. I got to bring one in here. I'm going to go for this color right here. It's a lighter version of this really coppery one over here. So I'm going to put it in the first third. There's also a really dark one next to it. I think I'm going to go with the brighter copper, this one right here, and then this darker color that's right next to it and see how that works. It's very, very, I don't want to say soft, like it's lightly pressed, but when I put this flat brush into it, it kind of moved it around, like it's not really hard pressed. It's not falling apart, but I guess the word is buttery. I really like it. Go ahead and put it on, and I can just paint it on. This is a dry brush. It's coming off really nice on the brush, and it's sticking to my eye well. I'm getting a very good foiled effect. I'm going to go in with this more muted color, this more muted shade right here, just a darker copper. Put it in the side and see if there's any difference really. I think there is. Yeah, it is considerably darker. Bring it over the crease a little bit and underneath the eye, just a little bit, just right through there. Oops, I'm picking up the wrong one. I wonder what happens if I try picking up this shade right here, this topper shade. Will it pick up on the brush? It appears to do so. And will it lay down on the eye? It does. Okay, that's unusual. I thought it would be so glittery that it wouldn't pick up with a brush at all, but it does. I am kicking glitter all over this side of my face because of this topper shade. But you can really pack it on with a brush. This is a fairly firm brush. It's from ColourPop, and it's doing a really good job of picking up and laying down these very glittery, very bright colors. So I'm very happy with that. I'm also going to use the same gold color. I'm using a different brush, but it's the same concept. Also in the corner of this eye. I'm doing my tear duct. I just think that's a very bright, very nice addition. Let's see, I'm going to try to brush off some of this glitter again. Yes, if you don't like having glitter on your face, this palette, at least these very glittery shades, might not be for you. I'm going to use my Arceli brown liner. I believe I got this from an Ipsy gel liner. I think with the lightness of this, I just like to have something a little darker lining my eye. So I'll go ahead and put that on. And I think I'll also go ahead and put on my mascara too. When I'm done with that, I'll be right back. I'm back. I've gone ahead and put on my eyeliner, which is the Arceli brown, and also the Milk Kush black mascara. This is what my eyes look like right now. Close them so that you can see the makeup. The eyeshadow. Looking at it, I think that these two sides are fairly close. You can tell that this one is more coppery and the other side is more pink, I think. Eyes are starting to wander a little. But I think I'd like to deepen up this side a little bit. I use the same transition shade. And I think that's making the two looks I did look pretty similar. You can't see that. Dip into this one right here and put this in my crease. Try to darken up this look a little bit. Oh, it does. I just got a little kick up, but I think that might help with the problem that my looks are very, very similar. I mean, it's not a problem, it's a pretty look, but I think I can make it look a little more different. Also, because I'm 56 years old, I tend to have hooded eyes where my eye skin is just drooping. So I tend to go a little bit above the crease and put a little bit of the crease color so it's actually visible. And this has really gone off to the side. It's a little bit dusty. There's a little bit of kickback on the mats, but I tend to go in fairly heavy with my brush. I tend to grip it down here and put a lot of force into it because I'm basically a gorilla. But that's what we got right now. All in all, I'm really happy with how this looks. I think both sides look nice and they look different from each other now. I think you'd have difficulty getting a really cool look or a really dramatic, smoky look out of these. It's not really got a lot in the way of neutrals unless you count foiled copper as a neutral. That would be this side over here. But this side over here is about as close to a neutral as you're going to get. But if you like sparkly pink looks, which I totally do, I think this is excellent. So next up on the list, what I'm going to do is I'm going to try the Ulta Beauty Foundation, which I put up next to the camera earlier. I'm not wearing any foundation at all right now. And for this, I think I will bring back my mirror. And I'm going to put it up here so that I'm not looking down the whole time. I'm not going to use the included sponge. I'm going to actually use one of my brushes. This is a kind of a narrow kabuki brush that I got, I think, with Ipsy. And the reason I'm not using my usual brush that I got from BoxyCharm is because I'm going to be using that in my next video. And I'm letting it dry. I put a lot of liquid foundation on it, and I'm going to be testing a brush cleaner on it. So that's going to be the video I film while I'm letting my makeup sit for a wear test. So let me go ahead and throw this on. I'm just going to put it on fairly dense on this and then smear it all over my face. I can see it kicking up some powder. My nose is very itchy already. I apologize for that. But I'm going to get a good thick coat everywhere. Make sure I get it into the corners of my nose here. You don't expect really heavy coverage with a powder foundation. You just expect it to even things out. It's really kicking up a lot. That's because I'm going in pretty heavy. Maybe neutralize some of the redness of your face, my face, and just even things out. My main flaw with my face, besides my wrinkles, of which I have a lot of them and they're fairly deep, my main problem is that my skin is so thin and so fair that I can see veins, particularly like up here in the corners. And over here I got a really visible one, and also by my mouth over here I have one that I can see really well. If the foundation I'm choosing can get rid of those veins, or at least minimize the looks of them, I'm pretty happy. And this does seem to be doing that. And because it's a powder, it's going to look a little powdery. We expect that. I'm not going to add any finishing powder with this because it's already a powder. I don't think that's necessary. I do tend to like matte looks. I don't like to look too shiny because I'm not a kid anymore. I just don't think it suits my look. People who wear shiny looks or dewier looks aren't kids. I shouldn't have said that. But for me, it looks to me like I'm trying to pass myself as being more fresh-faced than I actually am. I've got a fair amount of this stuff on, and I think it is actually doing what I want a foundation to do. It's not getting rid of the dark. Well, no, if I build it up, it is actually kind of getting rid of the dark circles under my eye. I'm going to go ahead and go in a couple times and make sure it's really into the wrinkles, and then also just pat it on top. It's not really meant to do this, I think. I think most foundations are supposed to just even out your look, and I'm trying to use a powder foundation to get rid of the covers, the dark circles under my eyes, which is a little ambitious. I don't think they really say, oh, we can get rid of those. So I'm asking a lot of this right now. But this is a review, so I'm kind of putting like a stress test on it. I'm going to put some on my chin here. I think the color is actually a little lighter than I needed. I ordered another one that's a little darker color. I think I could use the two of them in conjunction to get a shade that I actually like. This is a little light for me. I think it's just almost pure white. And for powder, it's surprisingly buildable. I actually feel like I'm getting some coverage from this, and it's not just like a setting powder. That said, it's not a liquid or a stick, and I can see a little bit of redness over like on this side, and I can't build it to go away. I can also see the vein on this side, not as noticeable. It's also gathering in my hair up here. I think I'm going to stop now. For some reason, I'm getting uneven. I think I've got an uneven buildage of it on my nose. I think I touched my nose and some of the oils from my fingers got onto my nose, and it's clinging to that. So it doesn't look completely even on my nose. Now it still doesn't. I don't really like that. It wants to look uneven on my nose. Okay, there we go. We kind of got that. It looks powdery on my nose, but then it's a powder. I'm going to go in here on the side of my eyes. Okay, considering that it's a powder and it's going to look powdery, I'm just crinkling up my forehead to see how it's doing with my wrinkles up there. It's not causing my wrinkles to crease, which is mainly what I expect from a powder, is to not settle in my wrinkles like a liquid does and make them crease up. I got to turn off my heater. Okay, I'm kind of happy with this. Let me go ahead and blend out my eyes a little bit better. And I think I do want to hit my eyes with a blending brush just to make sure everything's well blended. The Ciate palette, the Velvet palette, did blend really well, very easily. But I just want to make sure everything is blended, and I believe it is. The two looks I did on my eyes, I think, are fairly similar. I don't think you're going to get 14 different looks out of this palette. It's only a 12-pan palette to begin with, so you wouldn't expect that. But the looks I did get, I really like. Another thing I want to put on my face next is this Beauty Gems face palette. This was very inexpensive. I forget how much. I got it off of Ulta just to basically get it up to the free shipping mark. I think it was maybe $5. If I can find it and if I remember to do so, I will put it right here. I'm playing around with my background, so I hope it looks okay. I think it does. I'm actually showing off all the 3 cloths I put together and kind of braided them together so they're all visible now. Okay, I'm going to use the usual kabuki I use for bronzer. I'm putting powder on powder. There might be a little bit of powder overload. I do see it though. My nose is very itchy. It's not highly pigmented, but that's okay. I don't really like my bronzers to be highly pigmented. There is a darker one over here that I'm not using. Well, why not? Let's try this. Let me put it in the corner and see how it does. Yeah, that's much more pigmented as we would expect. I'm putting it up by the part of my face that's nearest to my hairline, and that's where I like it to be the darkest, and then lighter as we get towards the middle of my face. I'll put this darker one up here too, and then the lighter one underneath it to kind of make a gradient, and then blend them both together. I'll also blend it with a fluffier brush. Wow, that's looking fairly severe. I probably shouldn't have tried the darker one. That was silly of me. But I wanted to see how it looks because this is a review. And I do like a darker one underneath my chin. I do see it kicking up some powder. I'm putting powder on powder, which is a lot of powder, and my face isn't all that oily to absorb it. Next, I'm going to try the blushes, and I think I'm going to mix them. So I'm going to go in with this kind of berry toned one and then this light pink one. I'm going to do them both. They show up on the brush pretty well. I'm going to go ahead and put them right above and halfway into the contour. What I like with the contour is you can actually see the stuff coming off of it. It's still looking a little pinky, but I can also flick it off and use that now to kind of blend it a little bit. It's coming up a lot darker than I thought it would. Of course, again, I did use the dark shade. I'm going to blend it out a little bit more with this. I think that is blending nicely. I'll go ahead and blend up here, the side of my face. Okay. The only thing I haven't used so far now are the highlighters. I've misplaced my normal highlighter brush. I misplace brushes all the time. Even though I have an organizer now, I still misplace them. We got kind of a pinkier rose gold shade here and then a more golden one. I tend to gravitate towards pink stuff, so I'm going to go ahead and put that on. That's how it looks on the brush. This does have a nice mirror, so I can actually use that. I went in a couple times, and it is definitely shiny. I might be going on a little hard with this. But yeah, it's definitely on there. I wouldn't call it blinding. It's finely milled, so it doesn't look glittery. Let's see, I think I'm turning my head so you can see it. I think it's on there, and I think you can see it. My bronzer looks a little harsh, but that's not the bronzer's fault. I think that's my fault in my application. You're not really supposed to put them on with kabuki brushes. And I also use the dark shade, which is obviously dark on me. It seems that the blush isn't really showing up as well as it was, or maybe I blended it all away. So I'm going to put a little bit more on. Okay. It's definitely seeing some red now. Let's see if when I did that, if I got rid of I'm seeing if I got rid of my highlighter. Pretty much. The highlighter doesn't seem to have a strong will to live. Let me put it on with my finger and see how it looks. It's a really pretty color on my face. It's really rose gold, so I do like that. This isn't my favorite highlighter, but I do feel like I am wearing highlighter. I'm sorry for the sniffling. The last thing I want to do is put on my makeup, put on my lipstick. I haven't really been able to see myself because I haven't been wearing my glasses, and I think I like what I'm seeing. Yesterday from Ulta, I got some new lipsticks from the Kylie Jenner line. This is from the cream one she has. This is called Nova. Oh no, it says it's a matte. Okay, this is a Nova and it's a matte. And as you can see, it's kind of a nude. It has her name imprinted on it. Let's see if I can get the camera to focus on that. Put it all the way up so it gives it the best chance. Okay, I think that's the best my camera is going to be able to do. Oh, there we go. So you can see her name pretty clearly if you're wondering which Kardashian you are dealing with today. I'm not a big fan of the Kardashians or any reality show, really. I bought this from Ulta because it was on sale. I wanted to try it. It's Nova Matte. I'm making sure my lips are clean and don't have any liquid on them. I'm not going to prep them or line them, which I typically don't do. I'm overdrawing it just a little bit. My lips are very thin and also asymmetrical, so lipstick doesn't look the best on me. So if my lips look terrible, it's probably not the fault of the lipstick. It's my fault. I'm also tearing up. I don't know if it's because of the eyeshadow. I kind of piled it on. And my right eye tends to want to water anyway. So I often have trouble where once I put on my makeup, I'll just cry it off, especially on the right side. So I'm not blaming the palette for that. It happens with me with a lot of makeups that I try. A lot of it could be my mascara, it could be the liner. This feels like I have powder in my eye though. Some of the glitter maybe fell into it. It feels a little gritty in my eye. So I think maybe I put makeup in my eye, right in my eye, and now it's watering. Yeah, you can definitely see that I'm crying off some of the color, trying to even that out a little. Sometimes I forget to put my lipstick down and just jam it on there. I'm trying to get to be better about that, like a grown up, like someone who just doesn't mash up their lipsticks. So this is the look I got with those three, well, basically four products that I'm trying, as well as my usual things that I put on my face, my eyebrows, my mascara, my eyeliner. I'll go ahead and give it the best shot I can for the wear test. And remember my setting spray in Beauty Power Up, dual phase. I don't know if this stuff really does anything. I'm really crying a lot. I'm going to probably lose all of the color on this eye, at least in the waterline or, in the corner here because I am crying. I'm going to go ahead and just hit me right in the face with that blast. Right in my face, because I think that's how you're supposed to do it, right? See, I made myself shinier. Can definitely see the highlighter now. I was having a hard time seeing it because of my glasses being off, but I see it now. And I feel like this would be a good choice to wear when you go to work or you don't want really bright, dramatic makeup. And I think that I could probably stand to have a little darker lipstick with this too. This is a pretty basic neutral lipstick and I do like to wear things like that. But I think with this look I could have stood to have a little more color. And it also looks really uneven to me, though it didn't when I put it on. That looks a little better. So this is the look I got. I'm going to do a wear test where I'm going to wear it for a few hours. I'm going to go on my elliptical for a little while. I'm also going to film another video where I'm reviewing a makeup brush cleaner that I got from Amazon. So that's all I have for right now. I'm going to do my wear test and be back in a little while and hopefully show you how well these things last. I'm particularly interested in seeing how well the powder foundation holds up. So that's what I've got for right now. I'm going to be stopping and I'll be back in 1, 2, 3. And I'm back. I didn't really have time to do any of the things I was planning on doing, such as recording that other video or getting on my elliptical, because I spent the whole time I meant to do those things editing this video. I'm still very new to YouTube, and I'm learning how long it takes to do things. I always tend to be wildly ambitious as to how quickly I'll be able to finish things anyways, and I don't even have any idea how this thing works. At least I didn't before. I'm starting to learn. Editing takes a while. So it's been about 3 hours or 4 hours. I have been paying some attention to my lovely co-host, Toni. Right now she's just sitting here staring at my backdrop because she's a good kitty. And this video is probably not going to go up until later than I anticipated because I have to edit this part too. And I'm pretty much done for tonight. So looking at myself in the monitor, I think I look pretty good. My eye makeup is as it was before, as near as I can tell. And I'm not really seeing a lot of flaws. I can see my blush, contour, and highlight. This seems a little bright. I'm playing with my light so I don't look as washed out so I can actually see my makeup in the monitor. And I can see my highlight pretty well, my blush, my contour, my eye makeup, and as well as my eyebrows. So it looks like it's all there. Now I'm going to look a little closer because I can't really see how well my foundation held up unless I look up close in the mirror. So here I go with that. I'm going to turn on the light. Okay, looking at myself in the mirror up close, it looks like my foundation is largely there. I've been touching my chin. I have a bad habit of resting my hand on my chin, and it's worn off there as a result. But for the rest of my face, especially my nose, which is where I'm at my most oiliest, it tends to wear off there naturally if I don't touch it. It's still there, so that's good. See how it looks when I touch up my chin where I've been touching. Once I put it on my chin and blend it in fairly well, it's definitely giving me the coverage I had before. I can see the powder coming off of it. And again, I'm not using the best brush. Kabuki brushes, to my understanding, are usually used for liquids, thick liquids, and you use them to stipple in whatever you've got. This is a powder and I'm trying to use it the same way, so I don't know if that's correct or not. But I can see a difference from where I retouched it from when I hadn't retouched it, so I definitely wore it off. But again, I was touching it, so that's to be expected. Looking at my lips, during the couple of hours I was wearing it, I did retouch it once. I did put more lipstick on one time. More or less it stayed pretty well. I've been drinking liquid, so I expect it to go away. My eye makeup looks as it did before. I'm looking for glitter. There hasn't been any more glitter fallout, just a tiny bit, not a lot. So I'm pretty pleased with that as well. So that's it for this video. I'm pretty happy with all the products I tried. I think I have learned why people who do YouTube reviews on products typically don't do 4 at a time. I think that from now on, I'm going to stick with reviewing either 1 or 2 products and making much shorter videos. This took a lot longer to film and edit than I anticipated. YouTube's harder than I thought it was, but that's okay. I'm having fun doing it. The next thing that I'll be reviewing is that makeup brush cleaner that I've actually put a brush aside with foundation caked on it just to see how well it does on that. I don't know when I'll be doing that video, probably this weekend. And I don't know when I'll be filming any other videos. I'm still getting the hang of what my schedule is and how long it actually takes to film a video. Editing takes longer than I thought it would. So I hope you all like this video, and I hope I'll have some more content for everyone to enjoy in not too long of a time. Thank you for watching my video, and have a good day. Goodbye.